my very own website,
Esther mug.
and today is Halloween. Spooky.
When are you going to take your mask off?
Yeah, I came as myself tonight. No police not using their brains.
Larking gas in the back.
Maud is out of action.
On the floor, it's obliterated.
Bent in the middle.
Super girlfriend to the rescue.
If in doubt, do a burnout. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes and today is Halloween. It's also the last Saturday of the month, which means the Chelsea cruise is on. Me and my beautiful girlfriend Kat are now heading down to Chelsea in Winston, the Plastic Fiesta, and that's because Maud is out of action. Her clutch has got so bad now that I've decided to drop the engine and fit the new paddle clutch, even though I'm not quite ready to fit her new ST170 engine. I dropped Maud round to my other garage this afternoon and made a start on the job, and I'm going to be cracking on with that tomorrow. Now, I've heard that the South London Retro Power crew are going to be attending the Chelsea cruise tonight, and Mk2 Mitch got in touch with me a little while ago and said that he's going, so it should be a decent night down there tonight. Hopefully the rain will hold off and there'll be plenty of classic Fords for us to have a look at. Now, there is one thing I want to let you guys know about, and that is that I've finally got round to launching my very own website. You can find it at marcushayesuk.com, and at the moment it's pretty basic. I'm certainly no web designer, but like with most things in my life, I'm learning as I go, and I'm going to be updating the site over the next few weeks. Eventually, I want it to be the main place where you guys can find out about what I'm up to with my cars, and I'm going to be posting your car shares on there as well. For those of you who want to purchase Marcus Hayes merchandise to help support my YouTube channel, you can now do it through the website, which means it's going to be a lot easier for you and a lot easier for me. The site is proper legit, you know, with secure payments. You can pay with all major cards or with PayPal. It's totally up to you. Head over to the site and check it out. You can also sign up to the site for free so that you get notified about any new products or any news about what I get up to with my old school Fords. So with all that being said, let's make our way to Chelsea Bridge for the cruise. We've got a full moon on Halloween. Spooky.
In 0.1 miles at the roundabout, take the second exit, yeah?
Yeah.
Took the opportunity to get some early grub while the food van isn't too busy. So many cool cars here this evening. Check out this Capri. Plenty of hot rods down there, including this convertible thing. I have no idea what it is, but it is super cool. Next to that, we've got this VW camper. It's not a camper, it's a bus. Really cool. A shout out to Danny and David Coogan. Just sorted me out these speed bump things that are definitely going to come in handy in my garages to help me get the cars over the security posts. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
That's alright, no problem.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
The police are ruining the party early. Old Granada GXL. ST170 up. Uno turbo. Never seen that anymore. Rattler Cortina. Vauxhall Chevette. Burning some rubber. Dodge Charger. Everyone is leaving pretty rapid because the police have threatened to lock the gate. Party poopers. Ruining everyone's fun. Everyone's parking on the bridge instead. No police not using their brains, nothing new. Very familiar Capri, running a Rover V8. Check out the two-tone blue Anglia. Beautiful bubble arch Smart 1. WPE engine in the bay by the looks of it. Another WPE powered Mark 1. A couple of Escorts. And then wing mirrors are really cool. Really nice 4-door. Check out those deep mini lights. It's in this wide arch Mk2 quite a few times. Nice cosy. Danny reckons we should get one of these spoilers for Winston.
Have your McDonald's on?
Check this thing out. Some sort of V8 in the bay. Wear ear protection, laughing gas in the back.
When are you going to take your mask off?
Yeah, I came as myself tonight. Scary enough. Was he allowed to carry a pillion passenger on that? Another few escorts for us to feast our eyes on. Beautiful, really nice Mark 1 Mexico. Love the colour-coded wheels with the stripes. Really nice yellow 4-door. The wide RS style alloys.
Alright, so we've decided to leave Chelsea a little bit earlier than we normally would. Obviously got a massive day ahead of me tomorrow. So many cool Fords out tonight though. See another couple coming in as we were leaving actually. Massive shout to everyone who came over and said hello. A couple of people came over and bought stickers as well, which I really, really appreciate. I'm going to be continuing this video tomorrow when I'm going to be dropping the engine out of Maud. So I'll see you in a couple of seconds. Into the next day, and I'm around the garage with Maud. Now, as I say, the clutch has got so bad that I've got no choice but to change it now rather than waiting until she gets her new engine. I did come around here yesterday and make a head start, just unplugged everything from the engine, removed the radiator, and today I'm going to drop the engine and gearbox out of the car, take the gearbox off and see what's going on inside her bell housing. I'm not going to film the whole process. Those of you who have been watching my videos a while would have seen me remove and refit engines loads of times. I just need to get it done, but I'll catch back up with you once I've got the engine out. Alright, so a couple of hours later, and the lump and the gearbox is now out of the car on the floor. I did actually take the cross member off, and I was going to drag it out through the top just to make taking the gearbox off the engine easier, but I found it quite difficult to get it at exactly the right angle to do that, and it'll be even harder to get it back in that way, especially considering I'm on my own. Now I've already taken the bolts out that hold the gearbox onto the engine, so it should just be a case of pulling it off now. Well, we can see the problem straight away. The release bearing carrier is obliterated. And the bearing still feels smooth. Obviously it's no good. Now in theory the clutch might be alright, but I'm going to change it all. Some of these fingers on here certainly seem bent anyway. And I expect that the springs on the friction plate are all loose and wobbling around, which is usually what happens. Alright, so got the old clutch off. All the springs are still there this time, but they're all very loose. And this piece here is very, very loose. But yeah, I won't be refitting that. Now I've got this Turbo Sport paddle clutch that I'm going to be installing. And I've also got a brand new genuine Ford clutch fork and a brand new bearing. Now I didn't want to fit this until Maud got her new engine, but it is what it is, and hopefully this clutch will be able to put up with the abuse a bit better than they have done in the past. Now I think you can get a more heavy duty one of these release bearings, and I'm definitely going to look into getting one of those to fit when Maud does get her a new engine. But for now I'm going to bolt all this onto the flywheel and then set about getting the engine back in the car, because Maud needs to take me to work tomorrow. Alright, so Turbo Sport paddle clutch is now installed onto the flywheel and all torqued up. I've just gone ahead and replaced the clutch fork pin, and I've put the heavy duty washer on as well. I used to have a problem with these pins always coming out, and nowadays I actually araldite them in. There's a hole around the back of the bell housing here where you obviously bang them out with a punch, and I just basically fill that full of araldite once I've put a new pin in. Since I've started aralditing them in, the pin doesn't fall out, but for some reason the washer just splits in two, I guess, and falls out, and then the little rubber anti-rattle sleeve also ends up falling out. So nowadays I just araldite the pin in, put a little bit of araldite to hold the washer in, and the washer's all bent because where the washer has fallen out, obviously the clutch fork has been leaning against the cast alloy and it's ruined the metal. But yeah, basically every time I take the gearbox out, I'll just replace that pin and put a new washer and a new sleeve on. I'm also draining all the gearbox oil out, and I'm going to be putting some fresh oil in. And the correct oil for a Type 9 is a 7590 GL4 semi-synthetic. Don't put GL5 in a Type 9 because they have brass synchro rings, and apparently the GL5 eats away at them. Oh, that went on nice and easy. So grateful for that. Right, so the lump is back in the hole. Gearbox is all mounted up as well. Couple of things to mention. As I mentioned in a previous video, actually, the engine mount rubbers are worn. I've already ordered some more from Retro Ford, and I've ordered the cups that go round them as well, so I can swap them out when they arrive. And I have actually added some more washers between the engine mount rubber and the cross member, just to give me a little bit more clearance between the sump and the cross member. But yeah, the sump issue is the least of my worries at the moment. I'm not worried about that until I get the new engine in. And even when I had brand new engine mount rubbers, there wasn't enough clearance, and that is why we cut the cross member. On the gearbox mount, I've actually put a spacer between the mount and the gearbox to try and raise that up a little bit, which is also angling the sump away from the cross member. Another thing I noticed, before I took the anti-roll bar off, I could see that it was bent in the middle. Now that might be because I used to use a ratchet strap to actually get the anti-roll bar on, but yeah, I'll have to get another anti-roll bar at some point. Obviously got plenty more work to do, wiring up the electrics again and plumbing in everything. Hopefully I'll be able to do it before it gets dark, we'll see. Super girlfriend to the rescue.
Hello.
Right, so I didn't quite manage to get moored fully back together, but I'm very close. Just got last couple of things to button up. I'm going to crack on with that in the morning. Right now, I need to have some grub, and Kat's parents, Angelina and Marco, have sorted me out. And a cup of tea is definitely on the cards as well. And I think I'm going to have it in my new Esther mug. If you want to get your hands on one of those mugs, do check out my website. I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video. I've also got moored mugs coming, which should be on the website by the time this video goes live. I've made a point of not advertising the mugs on my social media because I don't have many of them, and I know some of you guys aren't on Facebook or Instagram, and I want to give you all a fair crack at the whip. But don't worry if you do miss out this time. I am going to get more made in the future, but probably not straight away. I want to focus on some other merchandise projects. So yeah, if you want to grab some merch to support the channel, MarcusHayesUK.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Right, so it's the next day, and as you can see, I managed to get moored back together. I didn't really have much to do today, to be honest. Just needed to tighten up all the anti-roll bar and stuff like that, and just check over everything. But yeah, everything seems sweet, and I'm going to take her for a bit of a shakedown run back to work because I'm actually around here on my break at the moment. One thing that I didn't mention yesterday, now this is the old clutch fork, and I didn't actually hold this up against the new one to check my theory, but I reckon this part of the clutch fork might be worn on this one, because I remember when I used to fit a new clutch, you'd slide this onto the pivot pin, and even with the anti-rattle sleeve there was a little bit of movement, but with the new one it went straight on and there was literally no movement. And you can imagine that if that was moving inside the bell housing, it would then mean that the bearing isn't always fully central on the pressure plate of the clutch, and then that might have been the reason that the clutch release bearing failed this time. It might even be the reason that I've been having so much trouble with clutches with this car, but who knows. Now the engine is definitely wobbling around a bit too much, but as I say, I've got brand new engine mounts on their way which should solve that. But the clutch rattle has completely gone. I'm not sure what the bedding in procedure is for a new clutch, but if in doubt, do a burnout. Clutch feels good. It reminds me of the clutch that's actually fitted to Esther, my SD170 powered Mark 1 Escort. It's really stiff on the pedal, although now she's got a hydro clutch, it's a lot lighter. I did want to keep a stock pressure plate on this car and just run an uprated friction plate because I'm driving the car every day and it can make your leg ache. But now Maud's got a fully heavy duty clutch. The clutch pedal is a bit high, but at the moment I've got a stock 1800 ZTEC flywheel fitted, which can cause the biting point to be a bit high. And obviously I'm used to the busted clutch where the biting point was on the floor. But yeah, so happy that the clutch doesn't rattle anymore. Obviously it means that I can hear the fuel pump in the back instead, but this Turbo Sport paddle clutch is actually rated to 220 foot-pounds, so that's way more torque than this car's ever going to produce. So yeah, it should be able to handle the abuse, no problem. People say that sometimes a paddle clutch can be a bit of a nightmare in traffic when you want to sort of move forward slowly, but yeah, it seems all right, to be honest. It's a little bit grabby, but it's not that bad. Just remembered I didn't fully tighten up the bolts that hold the track control arms to the cross member, but they're not that loose. I'm sure it'll be all right. Got to get used to not riding the clutch now as well. Wasn't me. Right, so I've made it back to work. I'm calling that a successful shakedown. Obviously at some point we need to go and pick up Winston so that Kat can carry on using him. I don't know what I'd do without her in my life, to be honest. She's so supportive of what I'm doing on YouTube and always willing to let me use Winston whenever my car's out of action. So I'm going to end this video here. If you did think it was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe if you're new and you want to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media, my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. Massive thanks to everyone for all your continued support of my channel. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.